And that was Demons by Tim Petrus. I'm your host, Mysterio Music, and I'll be keeping you company on this spooky October evening. Keep it here on 66.6, LA's spookiest radio station. Ha 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 ha.
Last night the G Lights in the neck and got your heart too many
found a way, yeah. But you never go away. So I guess I gotta stay now. Oh, I hope someday I'll make it out of there, even if it takes all night or 100 years. Need a place to hide, but I can't find one near. Wanna feel alive outside. I can't find my fear. Isn't it lovely? All alone, heart made of glass, my mind of stone. Tear me to pieces, skin and bone. Hello, welcome home. Walking out of time, looking for a better place. Something's on my mind, always in my empty space. But I know someday I'll make it out of here, even if it takes all night or 100 years. Need a place to hide, but I can't find one near. Wanna feel alive outside. I can't find my fear. Isn't it lovely? All alone, heart made of glass, my mind of stone. Tear me to pieces, skin and bone. Hello, welcome home. Welcome home.
Oh, there you are, sweetheart. Don't mind me, just having a nice cup of tea. Let me get myself together. Here she is. How are we, my darlings? It's me, that vamp of camp, Miss Luna Lestrange, and welcome back to Luna's Drag Macabre, episode number 3. If you've not seen the previous episodes, why the bloody hell not? What have you been doing? Jump on back and catch up on the last 2 episodes, because I'm not explaining the rules again, because I'm lazy. So we're at the halfway point of the competition now. We've seen 8 monsters and we've got another 8 to go over the next 2. And I thought, do you know what? Today I'm going to do a makeup look to really represent how I feel. I am knackered, right? And it's the first look that I've ever done that makes it look as if I have a Hollywood smile. Before we go any further, I think it would be beneficial to say hello to our resident judging panel. So, I'm feeling a little East End today, Crystal Paul, so get out of my mind.
I ate his liver with some fava beans and a nice Chianti. Oh, I've got another joke. Why didn't the skeleton go to see the scary movie? Because he didn't have the guts. Get it?
And of course, she's just like me, an absolute total slag. Granny Vicky. How you feeling, darling? Got a clean pair of knickers on tonight?
Oh. Basking in the ambience. Basking in the ambience. Oh, fuck. That's ripe. Cheers, darlings. Oh, you cheeky bitch. Hello, darlings. It's me, Granny Vicky, here for another week of the drag macabre. And no, I'm not wearing clean knickers tonight. I've had this current pair on for 3 days. If you want your own pair, you can get them at vixnicks.co.uk, or I sent last week's pair to Luna.
Wow, charming. And of course, how could I forget our extra special guest judge, or should I say, extra special guest judges. Please give a very warm welcome to the absolute pair of slags, Hannah and Mikey from the Scare Track podcast. How are we, my love?
Yes, thank you, Luna. It's Mikey
and Hannah
from the Scare Track podcast, and we are trying to showcase as much as we can of the UK scare industry. We go and visit attractions to do on-location review episodes. We do interview episodes with people within the industry as well, and we like to have some discussion, debate episodes on the podcast too.
We also do mini scare cam videos over on YouTube, so check us out at www.scaretrack.co.uk to find out more.
It's an absolute pleasure to have you. I am thrilled that we've got you. Thank you so much for coming and giving us a hand today. I'm so excited. Oh, and that's our judges for this week. Now, of course, going back to the continuing route of mental health, I really don't feel like I need to particularly comment on the opening number for today. I feel like it kind of spoke to itself. But it kind of does relate back to some of what our other contestants have been talking about in their performances, how drag's an escape and drag's a disguise, and you can use drag to become this complete different person, and that's the beauty of it, or sometimes the horror of it. But enough about me, let's move on to our charity for this week. Today we're going to be talking about the Mind Out charity. Now, Mind Out are a Brighton-based charity that are run by the LGBTQ+ community for the LGBTQ+ community. You'll have to excuse my notes because there's such a long list of services that I couldn't possibly remember them all. But Mind Out provide advocacy services, peer support and mentoring, counselling, suicide prevention, an over 50s project for LGBTQ+ people that are over the age of 50 and are feeling lonely or isolated. And they've also got telephone befriending to help find friends over the telephone while stuck at home during the pandemic at times in which they may be at their most vulnerable. Something that I found really unique about this helpline in particular is when you phone up, there's a wide range of services, but if you look on their website at certain times of certain days, they have specified counsellors and people that will be there to be able to speak and give assistance to. There was a trans-specific volunteer that was available to speak to, as well as a QTI POC section time as well. And I think that is really, really, really good to have someone that you could actually relate to go and speak to. So if you feel the need of any of those services, please feel free to check them out. Mind Out can be contacted on 01273 234 839, or you can visit their website, and again I will leave all of their links in the description boxes so you can go and check them out, volunteer if you can, donate if you can, or take advantage of the services if that's helpful to you. So thank you, Mind Out, for doing such great work. Now let's get this party started. And do you know what no party's complete without? Cake. So let's take a trip to somewhere in England and visit Cake Boy. Let's meet the monster.
Hiya, I'm Cake Boy. I'm a disco dancing, Oscar Wilde reading straws and ticket holding friend of Dorothy's. I'm a drag clown fabulist is what I go by. I'm a clown, foremost, because I love to express myself. I have a lot to express and there's a lot of expression in clown. So that's how I started out. I started out doing clowning. The fabulous part came on a bit later when, you know, I started to become more at one with myself. So I live in Manchester, home to Greg's Bakery. We love a vegan sausage roll. But I'm originally from Birmingham, or near Birmingham. I'm from a little town called Stourbridge in Dudley. Dudley, we all speak like this, alright? How are you, Alpit? I love a bit of acting. I love to express, as I said. I'm a mime. I'm a mime. I've already done that. So yeah, I'm not a dancer particularly. I love to dance. I like a good sing-song, can hold a note. And I'm an okay makeup artist. I'm kind of... I'm okay at everything. I'm not brilliant, but I'm okay at everything, and that's okay. So this performance is John My Beloved by Sufjan Stevens and Arca's Non-Binary. These two tracks didn't originally go together. They were not meant to be the same thing. They were meant to be two separate things. I can't remember what they were at the time. I think I was just playing around. And then suddenly I was getting really angry because the one didn't work on its own, the other one didn't, and I just couldn't work out what I wanted to do. And then I was like, hang on one second, what? And so this performance was born, just like that. There was a lot of sweat, a lot of coconut oil, and a lot of tears. Kind of born out of a lockdown 1.0. I was coming to terms with my gender identity. I was born with a penis, and that was assigned male. So I was born male, according to the government. And then over summer, I've been thinking about it for like a year previous, probably 2 years, about how I actually felt. I didn't like the term male. I didn't like the term man. I didn't like the term masculine. It didn't feel me. And I'd started clowning about 2-3 years. Roughly the same time I probably started questioning, which I didn't connect the dots, but the clown character, which was very such just white, blue eyeshadow, red lips, like very simple clown makeup, I was using that as a vehicle to explore gender identity and gender expression and my own identity expression, blah, blah. Because Cake Boy was an extension of myself, and I knew that, but I didn't realise that what that was a form of non-binary expression, me expressing myself as non-binary. Is what I should say. Cake Boy was an expression of me as non-binary, and I was like, oh, that's how I want to be able to wear these dresses, not on stage, but also off stage. I want to wear this makeup, not on stage, well, less so the clown makeup, but eyeshadow at least. This number was born out of kind of that struggle to come to terms with how I wanted to express myself. So yeah, so the song is kind of a bit dark because it's kind of me killing myself, my old self. But that's not true, because I think we are multiple of selves. There are lots of different versions of ourselves, and the Sufjan version of me and the Arca version of me coexist in this track, but also they kill each other. They attack. But that's life, isn't it? Conflict. Yeah. Shit. Why should I win? I've got 30 seconds. I should win Luna. Okay. I should win this competition because I'm not like most drags. No, darling. I'm okay at makeup. I'm okay at performance. And I look good nude in a clown makeup. I gave you a little bit of flesh tonight. And that's why I should win. Also, look at my Pokemon, they're cute. Let me win for them. Let me bring it home for her. She's a she-her.
Are we to speak? First day of the week, stumbling words at the bar. Beauty, blue eyes, my order of fries, Long Island kindness and wine. Beloved of John, I get it all wrong. I read you for some kind of poem, covered in lines, the fossils I find, have they no life of their own? So can we pretend sweetly before the mystery ends? I am a man with a heart that offends with its lonely and greedy demands. There's only a shadow of me in a matter of speaking. I'm dead.
I do what I wanna do when I wanna do it. I check out the bags to prove it. Hips to move it around and make shapes, yes. Trim the waist off and the waist down, girl, it slipped off. It's French tips wrapped around a dick. Do you wanna taste? I don't give a fuck what you think. You don't know me. You might owe me. A bitch, you'll never know me. Ask me how I got here, bitch, I work hard. Ask me about my luck. Yeah, I've been lucky, and I've been unlucky. It's both. Don't push your shit on me. Bitch, I'm special, you can't tell me otherwise. Better be a lie. Who do you think I am? It's not who do you think you're dealing with. No, cause you're not dealing with. There's no deal. Bitch, it's real on my side. Go ahead, speak for yourself. Go ahead, speak for yourself. Cast the first stone. If you wanna be a puppet. Better yet, speak for yourself, states. 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 Move for yourself, states. Speak for yourself, states. Speak for yourself, states. Speak for yourself, states. Move for yourself. I could be friendly, or I could be fake. I could be real, or I could live a taste. What's it gonna take? I could be sexy, or I could be sad and bad. Just to be sweet, what a treat it is to be non-binary, not Cherie T, bitch.
Going straight into it, I love the colour differences between the two characters, the one being black and white and one being in full colour. I thought that was really super clever, and honestly, I just thought it was a really, really arty piece, and I really, really liked it. For me, what was really, really magical about this piece was you didn't need to be literal at all in what you were portraying on screen. The way that you sold it and the editing with the makeups and the looks and the way that everything was put together just sold the story and told such a beautiful, beautiful abstract story. And I really, really, really enjoyed it. Really enjoyed it. The way that you edited that was beautiful. You must have put so much time and thought into that. It was absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much. Now, I'm not going to go on any further because I'd quite happily sit here and sing your praises all night, but I've got a judging panel to hear from, so let's contact our mystical friend Crystal Ball and see if they enjoy a slice of cake.
Oh, Cake Boy, that confessional was full of bubbling energy, and the performance itself was a piece of art. I mean, this is all art, but that was a piece of art you could see in a gallery, in an exhibition, captivating people. You turned the physicality on its head. You treated your body like it was material, twisting and turning it, rediscovering a freedom of movement that is at the core of clownery and drag. And I really liked the insight into what the music conveyed about who you are, where you are now, the sense of gender and identity. I really liked it. Very well done. It was wonderfully composed and put together. Such deliberateness that I really enjoyed with the detail.
Now, I've got to say, I like cake and ice cream myself, but each to their own, you know. So, Vicky, what do you like with your cake, my love? What did you think?
Well, as you can see, I love the cake, both kinds. And if I was to have a side order with my cake, I'd take mine with Cake Boy. Yes, please. That was so imaginative, and the visuals that you put along to that were fantastic. It was captivating, is the word that I'm going to use for that. Captivating.
Thank you, darling. Oh, I'll tell you what, all this cake talk's making me hungry, but I've not got time to sit and eat cake. Instead, let's talk about the way that you moved your body during that. That's something else that I found quite unsettling and creepy. And, you know, have you ever thought about some scare acting, perhaps? I think you would be a great fit in a horror maze. I think the way that you know, portray this sort of nature, I think you could do really well with any given character in a maze. And, you know, let's go and talk to the experts now. Hannah and Mikey from Scare Track, what did you think of Cake Boy? Can we get them cast in a scare maze for Halloween? What do you think?
Yeah, absolutely, Luna. They would do so well in a scare attraction. I loved the mirroring and the whirlpool effects and just the grotesqueness of it. Really give me chills.
Definitely, yeah. And it's the whole sort of two opposites in one, really, as well. There's the black and white simplicity side of it, and then like you said, when you go into the flip side where it's all very curved and whirlpool. I really liked the use of effects within the video to sort of get your story and get your get the stimulus across, really, of Inner Demons. It worked really, really well. Really cool piece of artistry put together, and the way you can move your body is incredible. There's some really sort of sublime physical theatre elements in there. Remind me a little bit of Stephen Burkoff and the way that he moved his body within some of his performances. So yeah, really, really good job. We loved it, didn't we?
Yeah,
definitely.
We might be on to something there. We might be on to something. Thank you so much, the pair of you. Much appreciated. Now, let them eat cake. So for our next contender, it's time to jet off to somewhere in the United States and meet Oblivia Newcomb-John. Let's meet the monster.
Hi, I'm Oblivia Newcomb-John, and I'm from Minneapolis, Minnesota. My drag is inspired by heavy metal, fashion, the occult, my culture, and fantasy. I'm definitely a metalhead. The first concert I went to was Machine Head and Megadeth opening for Black Sabbath. I describe my drag style as tough fashion. I love mixing different extremes, like the extreme world of heavy metal with the extreme world of fashion. And I kind of live where all of these extremities meet and marry. I'm Hmong. Hmong people are indigenous people from Southeast Asia, so like Laos, Thailand, and Vietnam. My parents came to the US as refugees of the Vietnam War. I'm first generation, and that means I'm the first of the kids in my family to be born here in the US. My Hmong culture and heritage is important to me because I'm not close with my family, so I really want to be that positive representation of my culture, and I want to show the world that queer Hmong people exist. We're here, we're creative, we're beautiful, and we're powerful. Sometimes being Hmong can be a little challenging because not a lot of people know who or what Hmong people are, so people automatically assume that I'm East Asian, like Chinese or Korean, but I'm not. It's challenging too because being queer is still something that's pretty new to the Hmong community. So there's a lot of Hmong people who don't understand what being queer means or what doing drag is. For my number, I thought really hard about what my inner demon is. And for me, my inner demon isn't necessarily a negative thing. My inner demon is more of like a source of power, and that power comes from a lot of pain, hurt, and struggle. I just believe that through pain comes strength, and my inner demon is a very strong woman. I was really inspired by the Rorschach test, and that's just like ink blots used to help people like figure out what's going on in their head. And that's kind of like where I am right now. I'm still like trying to figure out what's going on in my head. So I sat down and I painted all of these Rorschach images to use in my video. I was also really inspired by the movie The Cell with Jennifer Lopez. And in the movie, she goes into the killer's mind to like figure out what's going on. Once she's in the killer's mind, it's like this fantasy, surreal world, and they're in all of these like super cool costumes. And I really wanted to emulate that in my video because we're in my mind. I was inspired by this 90s martial arts movie called Bride with the White Hair, and the character I'm referencing, she's raised by wolves and people call her a witch, and I really wanted to wear white because we're in my video, we're in my mind, and the space of my mind is a space where it's very pure because I'm figuring out what's going on with me, and I really wanted to wear white because I'm usually wearing black or like a darker color, and I really wanted to show a different side of Oblivia. I'm also really inspired by body modification. I just think body mod is so cool. It's been around for such a long time, and it exists in so many cultures in so many different ways. I think that I should win Luna's Drag Macabre because I'm different, I'm unique. My references and my point of view is specific to me. I represent a lot of people who are underrepresented. I don't see anyone out here who looks like me. I don't see anyone out here who likes the things that I'm into. And I don't see anyone out here who's doing the type of drag that I'm doing. And I think that's why I should win Luna's Drag Macabre.
Goodness gracious me, Oblivia. Wow. There is honestly so much to unpack for that, and I'm really not quite sure where to start. So I think I should start off by saying that I really enjoyed the story about your parents and of course your culture and background as well. I thought that was really nice for you to share with us. I think queer Hmong representation is absolutely so important, and my love, you are such great representation for that because you are an absolute powerhouse. I thought the way that you applied your makeup in that video was so beautiful, and I'm just obsessed with the way that you paint. And I have been since I did the casting, but shh. I really do think that that video could potentially be an official music video for that. So let's hear and see what the judges have got to say. Crystal Paul, how did you find Oblivia Newcombe-John?
Oblivia, your confessional, your talk about your cultural background, your family background, that just made me stop and go and look on Google, and I just got into a deep dive there because it was fascinating, it was wonderful. Your inner demon as a source of power from who you are and who your family have been and are is just amazing. And the minute the music started, Spirit Box, the Rorschach, the imagery, it was so good. White was a good choice. It let everything stand out. The energy spilled out from it. I loved it. It was unique. It was unique and it was a really good, high quality production. And it just looked like it was inside someone's mind. You were trapped within that mind with all those images, like a padded room, the paintings on the wall, the Rorschach. Yeah, well done. I really like that world and I want to see more of you. I want to see more.
Beautiful. Granny Vicky, was all that noise a bit too much for you, sweetheart, or can you keep up with us metalheads still to this day?
Well, I don't quite know how old you think I am, sweetheart, but I do enjoy a little bit of metal every now and then, and this was no exception. Oblivia, that was so clever. I loved the choice of the track. I loved all the effort that you put in to setting the scene, all the pictures that you put over the wall. It was just absolutely beautiful. You're beautiful. The performance was beautiful. I'm beautiful. We're all beautiful. I'm beautiful. The fuck do I think I am? Fucking painted like this. Can't I?
Lovely, thank you, darling. And finally, we come to our extra special guest judges, who I know are a pair of metalheads, Hannah and Mikey from Scare Track. What did you guys think about Oblivia Newcombe-John?
Yeah, we absolutely are metalheads, and the music in that had me rocking along.
Yeah.
But let's talk about the inner demons. I loved the physicality with the nails. It was nightmarish and eerie, and really would be something that would absolutely terrify me in a scare attraction.
100%, definitely. And the whole sort of piece was just scenography wise was beautiful. I loved sort of the ink blots that are all around the room, and there's so many levels you can use with that sort of scenography of, you know, people who have their inner demons that reach out to practitioners and whatnot. They'll always say, what do you see, what do you see? And I was seeing a few things in my own mind looking at the scenography of that performance, but the overall performance, the inner demon performance, was great. Really heavy metal, really enjoyed it. Like Hannah said, with the nails, the look, all worked really well. Really enjoyed it.
Thank you, my loves. Oblivia, thank you so much for that video. That was great and I thoroughly enjoyed it. Thank you, my love. Mwah. So now let's fly back over to somewhere else in England, because quite frankly I was getting a little hot under the collar during that, although I think our next contestant could make me remove the damn jacket. Dandy Issues. Let's meet the monster.
Oh, okay. Hi there, my name's Dandy Issues. I am a drag king based in the southwest. I am probably too old to be doing this, and I'm here today taking part in Luna's Macabre. So my drag is inspired from, I like to describe it as old school meets new school. So I take a lot of inspiration from the kings from like the NYC scene in like the early 90s and such, but I like to consider myself having this new school element to it. So be it through digital drag, be it through the makeup. A lot of original drag king culture would say it would be all about how you present yourself as a person. So I take a lot of inspiration from that, but I think also now it's a lot of more than that. Like back in the day, you used to be able to just stick on a tatch and you'd be able to pass as someone as a dude, and now it's like we do all the makeup and all the fun things like that. So it's really quite a nice element of mixing it of the two. A lot of my work, I think people know me for, is probably from what I do digitally. I am a digital drag performer, producer and advisor, so if you need any help putting on a digital show, I'm your guy. But also I find that a lot of what I do is, I've really enjoyed doing digital drag. I find that it was a really nice way to kind of give me my home. I like the creativity, I like being able to use visual mediums to include in on a joke. So I started drag in a bit of a weird way. I started it as a form of creative therapy. I went through a real shit year in late 2018, early 2019, and I just hated myself so much, and I just wanted something fun to do. I did all the therapy, I did all the CBT, and in the end I was just so tired of it all. I just wanted to do something that was for me, so I just started painting my face in my room. I started off as an Instagram king. I got a bit of a following there, and I started that all in the summer of 2019, and then fall of 2019 and the winter I basically went on stage for the first time. God, that was such a terrible 5 seconds of summer performance. One of my drag family, they convinced me to do a digital show, and then I ended up taking over the digital show, which ended up being God Save the Kings, and the rest is history. I've done lots of stuff digitally, from drag punk to things with like RuPaul Drag Race. I've done a few stateside gigs now, and I'm really grateful for the time I've had. So, my inspiration for this number, I'm not sure if that kind of works. I took inspiration for this one because I wanted to reflect on my own experiences of having anxiety and self-harm. But the thing with me is that a lot of my mental health is all kind of like, I've had to teach myself how to get out of it, and usually I'm quite good at wording myself around it and such, but sometimes you just go back to it, and unfortunately intrusive thoughts are a thing. So I thought I really wanted to try and replicate having a panic attack digitally. It's strange because trying to think, when creating it, you think about all the things that you say to yourself during a panic attack and all of the intrusive thoughts, and it's very weird because a lot of it is self-hate, and you look back at how cruel it is, and God, that to me is like so much more scarier than any monster. Like, I have a whole thing with a Babadook, and honest to God, he doesn't scare me as much as that. I hope that my video at its core does some good to raise light on things. I've done stuff similar before, talking about mental health being a little bit more cut and dry. But if not, I hope to welcome people into sitting into their uncomfortableness. I think that's the phrase that people like to use. Like I said, it's not an easy number, but it's very different because usually I do like the light and the humour and the funny and taking that campery. I think horror and camp really lends itself really nicely to each other. Some of my favourite horror films have been those ones with like the old school camp elements of just like running around and just being so silly. But I hope that there's element of trying to do a funny drag number and also a horror number as well, and something a bit more real. I hope it blends beautifully. That's the hope. That's the hope. I hope you like it. Like I said, I think I hope people can appreciate what I'm doing with it, if nothing else. And we're going to call that time, because if I keep talking at this camera, we're going to be here all day. I'm sorry. What up everyone, my name's Dandy Issues, that's right, that handsomely devilish chap from down south, by the sea, by the pier, performing for anyone who'll have me, and maybe also living there, except I'm not currently by the pier, I'm in Gloucester. No. Now, I know Luna's asked me to come on today and bring some comedy camps and bants and witty and chants and such, but I must be honest, I'm feeling a little bit out of my league, because normally I bring the stand-up and the humour and the parody songs, and I always had this song about a Babadook and such, but, you know, I didn't feel it's quite right, because the thing with Dandy is that I'm as scary as... Oh, fuck. What are you doing? What are you doing? Come on. Gotta do this. Comedy for Luna.
You're not funny.
What up, everyone? My name's Dandy Issues. That's right, that bear cub from down south by the sea, by the sea. Fuck. Right.
No one even liked you. You never have been funny. You never will be funny.
Come on.
Everything you do and say is just a trick to try and make people like you.
I am funny. This is easy to do.
I'm pretty sure that you know that
I know this is gonna work.
They don't actually care for you, you know.
Just
none of them do.
stop.
Just being polite. Everyone in this
Just
competition.
fucking intrusive thoughts. Just
Luna,
stop.
Just being polite. You're just a token drag king.
No, they put me in because I'm good enough.
You're the only one who applied. That's why they put you in.
I trust my friends. I trust people. I trust the people in this competition. They wouldn't lie to me. I know.
Really? Do you actually know that? Because last time I checked, you haven't met anyone over lockdown during that time apart.
What? No, I couldn't do that.
Everyone who's supposedly your friend, you just didn't pay attention to because, you didn't have enough money, when in actual fact you're too scared to do that.
I know this is all online, but I trust them.
You know they don't actually like you in real life.
Like, they wouldn't
Even
have
the
liked
people
me.
in this competition who you know are close friends.
Shut up, let me
they're
film.
just going to ignore you or forget about you.
I am good enough to be here.
Everyone forgets about you.
People don't forget about me. People have
They always
lives.
forget about you in the end.
No, shut up.
I mean, you don't trust this community anyway.
What? No, I do.
Last time I remembered, it was they were the ones who caused you to self-harm for the first time.
No, just...
You should just go ahead and kill yourself. No one ever wanted you here to begin with.
No, stop it. I'm not going to do that.
Last time I checked, you weren't even good
don't
at doing
do that.
it. Just go ahead and hurt yourself. You're not any good. You're just worthless. You just hurt yourself. Go ahead. I'm not even your friend. And you're just upset. No one wants you here. No one even wants you here. You're just idiot. Just last time I checked, kill yourself. Just hang yourself to the ceiling. They never even liked you to begin with. They just let you on. Just go ahead. Just cut your throat and just go ahead and kill yourself. Feels good though, doesn't it? Every time. We all know who everyone says is the demon dandy. It's not me.
No, you're not. You're not the demon dandy. But quite frankly, that demon dandy is the one who helps me get me through a lot of my shit normally. And you, for the matter, are the one that's buggering it up. So, why don't you just bugger off back home? Because quite frankly, I do not need any more intrusive thoughts. I've got a number to film.
You make me out like I'm the bad guy there. You're better off understanding this. It's easier to do this now than to just disappoint people in the near future.
But I'm not disappointing people though. Am I? I'm never disappointing people. I'm only disappointing them if I lie or do something wrong. And it's taken a long...
Just kill yourself.
Long time to realise that actually I'm not. Right. Okay. Let's... Take 2. Luna Macabre, Inner Demons.
I need a minute to compose my thoughts. That was, for the lack of a better term, hard to watch, but for all the right reasons. I'm quite emotional, actually, and that's... I've sat in that seat. I've sat in that seat with you, and the way that you portrayed that was very, very, very cleverly done. So the jacket did have to come off, but not because I was hot under the collar, but because that really did bring up a feeling of anxiety. For me, it really, really did, and that made me so emotional. I could barely get my words out. It really made me emotional. You painted what it was like to have intrusive thoughts way better than I possibly could have done. And I have to hold my hands up to you because that was brave. That was really, really brave. I think I'm kind of a little bit all over the place right now, so I feel like it's best just to let the judges give their opinions. So let's get some calm, let's get some solitude, and let's speak to Crystal Paul. Crystal Paul, how did you find Dandy Issues?
So Dandy, I have seen you throughout the pandemic, and I met you in the pandemic online, and I've seen what you've done for drag, not just drag kings, but drag for people, for so many people out there. You've been an ear that they've turned to, you've been a show that they've turned to, you've been a performer that they've turned to, and you've brought so much to other people as well. It's just fantastic, and your confessional and performance really showed what a good soul you are and what a performer you are. I don't know what to say except it was so delicately done. It built up with such intensity, and the frustration in your voice, the unsettling edit. It was a choice to make that, and to enter in a competition shows how bold actually you are and how you're defeating your inner demons, and if they're not defeated, you're bringing them up, punching them in the face and throwing them back down, because you exposed a lot of emotion in yourself, in what the people see, and you did it so well. It was very well. It was content that people care about, and the way it was so unsettling and challenging, that is horror. That is horror to me. It unsettles, it provokes, it makes you have a reaction, and you made a reaction. Well done.
Thank you so much for your kind words, Paul. Moving on to Granny Vicky. What were your thoughts on Dandy Issues' performance, Vic?
Dandy, that was some powerful stuff right there. You haven't relied on music and tracks and lip syncing. You've created something that is relatable to so many. I think a lot of people watching this will go, yeah, I feel that, I know that voice, I know that demon, I know exactly what that video feels like, and I think you need to be really incredibly proud of what you have produced, because I know that I'm really, really proud of you for that piece.
Thank you, sweetheart. Thank you. There we go. I'm coming back round to being myself again. It was what you guys signed up for, and that was pretty terrifying in a very different way to, I guess, what you guys are used to looking at with scare attractions and things like that. So how was that for you guys? How did you find that? I'm really curious to get your thoughts.
Yeah, it's what we signed up for, and I'm really glad we did. That was absolutely beautifully terrifying in a very different way to what we've seen so far. And those inner demons that Dandy portrayed, they hit home with me and very much, and I just want to say I care.
Yeah,
I care, Dandy.
Definitely. That was incredible. That was something very different to, like you say, the other contestants. Very much pull on the heartstrings. The script work there was phenomenal, fantastically written, and I like the fact that it was portrayed in multiple different ways. One very well done with the editing of that. The editing of that worked, but I like the fact that there is a sections with, no filter, no sound effects, no anything. It's literally just you talking to the camera, and it kind of breaks that fourth wall of you're talking to yourself, but we're hearing that, the audience is hearing that. So it sort of told us the story of your inner demons, the anxieties, the things that make you feel worse and better, you're your own worst enemy, but it really let the audience feel that. It was very difficult to watch, and it gave me elements of that sort of Artodian theatre of cruelty, because the audience feel uncomfortable, they feel anxious. So yeah, great job.
Thank you, my darlings. Much appreciated. Dandy, thank you so much for sharing your story with us. That was really, really powerful and certainly an important conversation to have. I think you took us all off guard a little bit, but it's certainly something that needs to be spoken about, and thank you so much for sharing your story once again. That really was extremely powerful. There we go, I've composed myself a little bit, I've put the leopard back on and I think I'm ready and raring to go once again. I think I've sorted myself out. We've still got one more to go, but can we just take a moment to appreciate every performer in this series so far? I have been blown away by each and every single one of them. I can't believe we've still got more to see, because already this finale is going to be carnage. So finally, we're going to stay in the country, but we're going to go somewhere else in England, and we're going to come face to face with Mandy Sweats. Let's meet the monster.
Hello, my name is Mandy Sweats. I'm 24. I currently live in Folkestone and my pronouns are he, they, both in and out of drag. Mandy has been in gestation for a very long time. I first did drag about 7 years ago. I've just played around in it since, mostly, going to the club, for Pride, things like that. Last year I was actually put into my first show, Risque cast me, and I did a beat face and did a lip sync, and afterwards felt, this isn't me, this doesn't feel right. But then I spent last summer living in Leeds, in lockdown, in a basement flat, with no friends nearby, sort of going slightly mad. So I made a mask replica of my own face and wrote like a little horror film and edited it myself. And after I did that, I was like, yeah, this is what Mandy is. Mandy's always surreal, but not in a Salvador Dali melting clocks kind of way. Sort of banal situations turned on their head, sort of slightly off kilter. It's not traditional drag fantasy or escapism. It's always very uncomfortable, sort of dark, but mostly darkly humorous as well. I also pride myself on being an artist who's really into like cheap art. For a long time I was really put off because I didn't have the finances to create the sort of looks that I was envisioning. But once I got into masks and getting a bit more crafty, and I love a bit of arts and crafts, getting out the super glue, getting out the paintbrushes, I love it. Once I started doing that, I started feeling a little bit more empowered to create more art. I get a lot of my drag from Screwfix. I haven't been able to get a trader's discount yet, but maybe when they see me in a drag show they might hit me up. And the good thing about cheap art is that it's beyond criticism, because if you criticise it you're a capitalist. So, well, inner demons is a pretty perfect topic for me, and horror themed anything's a perfect topic for me, because my work is always sort of horror themed and about inner demons. I'd say my drag, or the feeling I get from drag after I've done it, is always like, thank God I got that off my chest. This performance is very in line with things I've done before, it's just now I've got an audience to subject it to. I tend to avoid explaining what I do in too much detail, because I think it's a little bit like explaining the punchline to a joke, but also because it makes me uncomfortable, so I really wanted to lean into it for this performance as it is about inner demons. The inner demon that I'm representing in this performance is my kind of impulsive need to control how other people perceive me, and my discomfort at not being able to control how other people perceive me. I kind of got into masks because when I was doing sort of more traditional drag with makeup, I was very uncomfortable, but I felt it opened me up to be scrutinised on my physical appearance, which I found very, very uncomfortable, and I kind of did masks, changed how I use social media to kind of not put myself out there as little, to put myself out there as little as possible. But that's sort of become a crutch in its own way, and that need to control how I'm perceived kind of shuts me off. It's a bit of a barrier, professionally, socially, romantically in particular. So I really wanted to push through that with this. I think that I should win Drag Macabre because I think I bring a sort of new perspective, new inspirations to drag. The thing I found most exciting about all this lockdown drag that's been happening is people are really starting to push themselves and create work that's really out of their comfort zone. And I think it's really important to keep pushing the limits, try new things, take risks, experiment. And I think that as Mandy, I really embody that. It's taken me the best part of 7 years to land on a drag persona and drag perspective that feels really authentically me. And now that I have, I really want to push it as far as it can go. in my wildest dreams, I'd love to do live performances as Mandy, like some sort of twisted sketch show. I'd love to write a whole drag play and get other performers involved and do a whole thing with that. The world really is my oyster. Is that? I don't know if that's the saying, but the sky's the limit. The sky's the limit. And I think winning Drag Macabre will give me that little bit of boost that I need to kind of really push my work to a wider audience. And also, it would be quite nice to have a new wig. So, but anyway, thank you very much.
Jesus Christ. Son of a bitch. Oh, hi! Sorry, I just realised my knickers were inside out. My name is Mandy. There you go. And I'm here representing Bottom Drawer Estate Agencies. Now, I understand you're here today to take a look at a property put up on our app last week. Well, first of all, thank you so much, sir, for using our new app feature. It's a nightmare trying to do all these things over the phone. Don't worry, there's no mould. But no, this is a lovely property, sir, with lots of prospective purchasers. I understand you've already been sent some supplementary photos of the property and have now decided to do a full video tour. Well, you're right to do so, sir, as this is a lovely property with lots of prospective purchasers, and I'll be quite sad to see it go. I won't be sad to accept a cheque. No, sir, but this is a lovely, lovely property with lots of prospective purchasers, and oh wait, I've already done this bit, haven't I? Start with a joke. Oh yeah, of course. In the name of transparency, sir, I must tell you that though this property is new to the market currently, it is not new to the market as such. You see, it has been on the market several times before, but has dropped out before purchasing has taken place. No, I shouldn't worry about it, sir. I shouldn't worry about it. It's just waiting for the right person to come along, I should say. But anyway, enough of my wittering. If I just... Yeah, we seem to be ready to go. So if I just take out my headphones... So here is the property in question, sir, hopefully just as described. As aforementioned, this property is no stranger to the market as such, having been on and off the market for close to 6 years. We advise this property is best suited for those looking for short-term lets, working professionals, singles, or couples. In the name of transparency, sir, we must admit there have been reported issues with damp, particularly at the height of the summer months, and previous tenants have suggested the property can become quite chilly, so we suggest you factor in the cost of a new pair of slippers into the price offered. Unfortunately, sir, the property will require a complete aesthetic overhaul in some quarters, as sections of the property have been allowed to fall into disrepair. Both front and back garden have been allowed to become overgrown, and both will require routine trimming in order to look nice by summertime. It is for these reasons, sir, that we have put the property on the market for such a low price. We are practically giving it away. But this property still has much to offer. Though it is true, sir, that parts of the property have fallen into disrepair, I must correct myself and say that disrepair is sequestered almost entirely to the attic and bedroom quarters. The structure of the property is still acceptable, and the front and back entrances are both as if new, and are commented on regularly by the neighbours. This is a lovely little property, sir, with huge amounts of promise that just needs to be whipped into shape. Well, sir, hope that helped. It's always nice to get a proper look, isn't it? If you could just register your interest with us within 48 hours on the app, that would be splendid. All right, thank you. Ta-ra, sir. You can cover yourself up now.
Mandy, 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 where do I sign? I'll take it. I think I'm going to go out on a whim here and say that that's possibly one of the most unique concepts that we've had in this season so far. And for that, I applaud you, my love. Well done, you. I really, really thoroughly enjoyed it because you made me laugh, and I wasn't expecting to laugh because I also felt uncomfortable and quite creeped out. So the fact that you managed to mix in comedy to that, it was stellar. It was fantastic. And I just love the way that you package things up. You do it in such a unique and really fun way, and I really, really, really enjoy that. I love arts and crafts drag because if you can go to B&Q, Homebase and like B&M and make a whole concept, make a whole costume, make something really fun out of next to nothing from these shops, then I would much rather see those types of performers on a stage over a skinny blonde twink in a Moschino bodysuit, because I think that just speaks volumes about what you can do. And you know, if you can literally make something out of nothing, you're a genius. Before we move on, I think it's appropriate to address the elephant in the room, or should I say cougar, maybe, in the room? Now, unfortunately, our dead Luna was so bowled over by how good Mandy's performance was, she killed over and died. However, I reincarnated, I come along, and I'm back to finish the episode. Good old Luna Lestrange, come to save the day for herself, isn't she? Nice to see you, sweethearts. I'm really, really curious to see what take the judges are going to have on this. So without further ado, let's talk to our mysterious, spherical friend, Crystal Paul. What did you think of Mandy's sweats, my love?
Sweats from Folkestone. You know, many a year ago, I lived in Dover, near Folkestone. For anyone who doesn't know, these are seaside towns that forgot the seaside element. And as much as I have love and warmth for my memories there was no queerness back then. Not at all. I barely knew of what queerness meant. And so to see someone so softly spoken, so wonderfully spoken, producing something so amusing and with such ambition, I'm so happy. I'm so happy to see it. This whole performance had a nice touch of the grotesque. It was like there was elements of sort of the Mighty Boosh, but channeled through a Legal Gentleman funnel. I loved it. I love anything that... I've got a soft spot for comedy that just sort of leaves me thinking, what the fuck? That almost has no purpose, except the purpose is exactly what it's presenting. Something amusing, ridiculous, surreal, strange, and I've got all the time for that. Your soft, emphatic voice and all those lines that came out of your mouth, the nonsensical nature of it, I have all the time for that. I almost wanted to see more of that. It felt like it was just part of something far bigger. And I think you've got a hell of a lot you can then deliver with that in a big, big show. Well done.
Thank you, Crystal Paul, for the final time this evening. And next up, we'll have someone that you'll be able to relate to, Mandy. She also shots in Screwfix as well. She's got a mouthful of tools. Granny Vicky, what did you think about Mandy's sweats, my love?
Darling, I have to tell you that a lot of my drag does come from Screwfix, because only industrial strength stuff is going to hold this body together. Let's be fucking real. The size of me, beast. I need heavy duty shit. Mandy, I really, really enjoyed that. I loved your concept. Again, I love the fact that you just didn't do like a straight song piece. You thought outside the box, you were really clever with what you did, and you gave us a performance piece. Really, really enjoyed it. And all that's left for me to say is I live in Margate, which isn't too far from Folkestone, so can I get your number?
Thank you, darling. Now you can rest easy till next week. That was it for tonight. Lazy old cow. I'm really, really curious to see what our guest judges are going to have to say about this performance, because I'm assuming that when you guys came here, this was something very different and very unexpected that you possibly didn't necessarily think you were going to come across. So, what do you think, Hannah and Mikey?
Well, that's very different to any property viewing I've seen before. Very eye-opening.
Yeah, it was really, really eye-opening. I really liked how it started with the sort of video call thing. That's what we had to do over the last 12 months. But I also like the fact that you were sort of unsure on what line you were doing. I've said that bit before. Made it real.
Made it feel really raw,
yeah,
really like personal, really real.
Definitely, absolutely. And then when it came to the more abstract side of the performance, it made me start thinking on how we sort of sell ourselves on things like Tinder and Grindr and just on social media and behind the screen. And I love the fact that you've used a housing property, sort of estate agents, to sell a product, a person. There's always the double entendres that are going, the front and back garden needs some trimming, things like that. So they're funny little things, but actually when you think about it, quite deep and quite thought-provoking. So yeah, I'd definitely say a fantastic performance and definitely thought-provoking.
Thank you, my darlings. For the final time this evening, you've been smashing. Thank you very, very much, Mandy, for that fabulous performance. I cannot wait to see what you come out with next. As ever, I have all 5 tonight of our judges' votes on who they think should be going through to the top 4 on the back of my tarot cards, because what's the point in wasting paper? I've got these bloody things coming out my ears. But I want to know who your favourite was tonight, so sound off in the chat, in the comments, let me know who your favourite was, my darlings, and then go back, give them a tip and follow them on Instagram. I would just like to take this opportunity to thank our judges once again. They're what's make this season great, because I ain't got my head screwed on half the time, but I'm alright with that. So thank you, Crystal Paul. Thank you to Granny Vicky. And of course, thank you very, very much to the beautiful Hannah and the stunning Mikey from Scare Track. It's been an absolute pleasure to have you. And I hope to see you again very, very soon.
Yeah, thank you for having us, Luna. It's been an absolute blast. Really enjoyed every piece of art that we've watched today. Every contestant, you've done an absolutely fantastic job.
And again, if you want to check out who we are and what it is that we do, www.scaretrack.co.uk.
So unfortunately, that's all we've got time for on today's episode. But if tonight's taught me one thing, it's that I only want 2 things from life, right? Vodka and kebabs. So that's where I'm off to now. Kebab shopping and off we run. I'll see you next week, my darlings, where we will get our final Fiendish 4 out of the Sinister 16. And we will only then be a week away from the finale. I have to apologise for the chaotic energy of tonight's episode. However, you do have to bear in mind that I not only died, but I also came back to life and looked fucking good while doing it. So, that's all we've got time for, I'm afraid, my darlings. We'll have to wait and see what happens next week. Hopefully we won't have any more deaths in the family. Unless it's Granny Vicky. I can't wait for that bitch to kick the bucket. But until then, I hope you have a really good week. Stay spooky, and I will see you on the other side. Unpleasant dreams. Quite emotional tonight because, well, it is the last regular episode of this season.
Thank fuck.
And I predict a winner.
As soon as we can all start going out and performing again, that you're going to have an extremely successful career. I don't doubt that for 1 minute.
And you showed exactly what you wanted to show in the way that you wanted to show it, and I had to touch my makeup over it, so it was really good.
The theme of Inner Demons really made people put their unique spin on it. It's going to be exciting.